Chapter 5, Relieving Yourself from Debt. All our lives, we strive to achieve a balance between income and savings. Oftentimes we fail, but it is not impossible. With careful consideration and correct guidance, you can relieve yourself of your debts and live a peaceful life. Ignorance is the first impediment. In our culture, where information is available at our fingertips, many people still choose to be ignorant and shy away from correct information about debit and credit. If you are thinking that ignorance is equivalent to lack of intelligence, then you are wrong. Ignorance is a lack of knowledge. You are not born wealthy. Remember, you can grow your money only after you grow your knowledge about money. No human being is born with the knowledge of riding a bike. Likewise, we are not born with the knowledge of cooking. We acquire this knowledge with time. No one is born with the talent of handling credit judiciously. We require some kind of training to do that, but we often ignore it. A simple online check will show us that there are numerous alternative ways to pay off your debt. Each option will differ slightly from the other, as long as it suggests you pay off your debt and ensure that you don't combat new debt. Those options may turn out to be good for you, but some risks will prevail. You may choose the one that creates the most sense to you. For the time being, let us not limit ourselves to a selective plan that will help you pay off your debts. Instead, we will focus more on the essential steps that you can take regardless of the type of debt repayment plan you are using, making the debt repayment process an accessible one. Some steps that we can use here include: stop with the new debt. You are never going to come out of debt if you only keep adding to your debt number. It's always best to prevent the new debt and find ways to limit it as much as possible. Most people are not trained in how to handle money. It's impossible to come out of debt unless you're willing and ready to undergo the training process to manage your financial habits starting right now. You need to get right in the mix and stand against all marketeers interested in trying to take your hard-earned money or offering you some easy financing. Be sure that while marketeers try to convince you to take more money as a loan other than forms of credit, you don't need more stuff to be happy. What you would like instead is financial peace of mind. So rather than falling for the temptation of getting a hold of a lot more debt, hack your credit cards so you can use them. Sit down and make a budget, then persist with it. Modify the social media and the advertisements in a way that they cannot influence you. It will help you to evade the possible temptation of getting more than you need. Rank the debt using interest rates. We will list all the owed debts and the interest rates that come with them for this one. The best rate of interest must feature on the top of the list. That is going to be the one that you must pay off first. Paying off the high interest debt will be critical to what's referred to as the stack method of debt payoffs and may help you get rid of that debt quickly. There are other employment methods, but these often specialize in motivational factors that are slower at getting the work done. Interest is a powerful weapon that the banks or other companies use against you if you don't pay debts. Interest will increase the amount you need to pay back in the end, and sometimes we aren't fully conscious of the proportion that finishes up being. Let's say that we have a MasterCard that features a $10,000 limit thereon, and there's a 20% interest rate. If you only opt to pay the minimum amount of $200 a month, it will take about 9 years and 8 months to pay off the debt altogether. In the end, you will find yourself paying the bank $11,680 extra in only interest. See if you'll lower interest rates. In some cases, it's possible to lower your credit interest rates with balance transfer assistance. You can take this route, but it means you're going to move your debt to a different bank and that they will provide you with a lower rate of interest to help your business. If you're going to do that, you should not just jump right in. Ensure that you will pay the debt off instead of finding yourself with 2 maxed out credit cards. You need to look for the cheapest amount of interest out there for the most prolonged duration possible. Read all the terms and conditions that show up. Ensure the bank doesn't have hidden fees or other issues that you need to worry about. Create your own budget. This is where we need to work on improving our financial control. We'd want you to bring out some pen and paper and write down what your total income is after tax. Then write down all of the expenses. It must include any of the extras you have and the minimum payments that you owe. We can cut these out later, but for now, we need to check out all the details. We can then check all of the expenses there and rank them supported by their importance. Check out the things near the bottom of that list and determine if they're worth cutting to keep you financially stable. The target here is to make the expenses lesser than the income. You also have to undergo and find out what proportion you're willing to spend on all of the areas in your life. You can put aside some amount for eating out, groceries, rent, buying clothes, and more. Once you allocate that cash, realize that you aren't allowed to explore other areas because you're done at that point. You'd want to think about working with a fun account that will be there only for you to spend on something that doesn't usually fit into the budget. This enables you a little freedom without derailing your budget. Even if your expenses are already below your income to begin with, this doesn't mean that you can stop here and call it good. You would like to make sure that you can cut your budget down as much as possible. It enables you to make extra money per month and throw it at your debt payments, making it more efficient and getting that credit score in line faster than ever. Create your own repayment schedule. The first part that we'd like to emphasize here is covering at least the minimum on all the debts you've got. If you miss anything, albeit trying to pay off another debt faster, you're going to incur tons of fees and more, and these can add up quickly. Make at least this payment monthly. Then you must take the debt with the very interest rate and use the additional in your budget to pay that extra toward that highest debt. You'll see the official minimum payment goes way down. You'll be ready to add the excess amount to your target debt. This may help you pay off your debt pretty fast, especially if you set any extra cash toward that every month. When that first debt is all done, it's time to move on to the second best interest debt rate. With this one, you need to take the minimum payment you did before alongside the minimum amount that's available from the debt you paid off and any extra you were paying. All of that will ward off the second debt, which is often paid off in no time. We must continue this process of taking the extras used from one debt and throwing them at other ones on the road, with the payments getting bigger and paying things off faster as we go along. While the primary debt may take some time to finish off because of other debts, the time you get to the previous couple, they're going to be paid off in no time. Be kind to yourself. Keep in mind that paying off debt, although it's good for your credit score, isn't something you will be ready to do overnight. In this extended process, your resolve will be tested quite a bit. You may face an emergency down the road, such as a car breakdown, and you'll find you'll need to change your plans accordingly. This is part and parcel of life and not something to get frustrated with. The vital thing to consider here is not to give in and revert to your old habits. Otherwise, you will never get that debt paid off. Be kind to yourself when an unfavorable incident occurs, and don't give up. You'll get those debts paid off in no time if you're willing to do the work. We want to help you figure out how to pay off your debts and ensure that they don't stick around for an extended period of time, because it helps us with our credit scores while freeing up extra money to do what we like. When our utilization rates are lower as we pay things off and don't miss payments because the months aren't as high, our credit score will shoot up.